We're going to be looking longer term than just the next few minutes. We're going to be looking all the way to October right now. Mr. October's here. Mr. February's here. He's a man for every month. The former Major League Baseball pitcher, Josh Towers. How have you been?
February was correct. That's the best month of them all. I've been great, buddy. How are you?
Why? Because you like reporting pitchers and catchers and all that?
This is my birthday. February 26th. And spring training starts.
There you go. In that order. Yeah, all right. All right. Well, happy birthday in advance, although I have a hunch we'll see you here between.
Oh, you're going to see me for sure.
Good man. Quick hitter on this.
Yes, sir.
A lot of goofy-ass rules proposals going on in Major League Baseball right now. Among them, pitchers that are coming in out of the bullpen could be limited, would be required to face 3 batters. We're hearing the old thing, extra innings after a while, put somebody on second. DH maybe to the National League, maybe something more reasonable, depending on your point of view. What are your thoughts about these proposals, none of which are final?
No, and I doubt many will. I think the DH thing, listen, Gil Alexander sent me this last night. I was almost asleep, and then obviously I had choice words for him for keeping me up all night because I got fired up.
I think I'm muting your phone?
So, no, I don't actually. Okay. So I talked to Gil this morning a little bit about it, and I mean, I got so many problems with all this. The DH thing, they've been pondering for like 3 decades now. Mm-hmm. So I don't bother me too much with the DH thing because we already do it. We play so much interleague. I think it does change the game a lot. I think that you're going to have a lot of managers or future managers come out of the woodwork that want to manage because now they dumb the game down to where you don't actually have to be a game manager anymore. You don't have to learn to double switch or get somebody ready on time. You don't have to prepare a little bit earlier. So I don't think the game itself, it won't get any brighter, that's for sure. I do have a problem with it because, once again, it's just another step to where we're benefiting and it's all about hitting and not pitching. And I know people get upset when I say that being a pitcher. So, yeah, I mean.
Well, it's the NFL.
Let's add another Encarnacion instead of a pitcher. That's fun for us.
All right.
But the other rules is just crazy. Like, honestly, they won't have enough time to implement the you got to face 3 hitters rule because there's so much that can come back on that. There's so many different things they haven't thought of. And what happens if I have to face 3 hitters? Does the opposing manager on offense, does he get to make a pitching or hitting change? Does he have to leave his 3 hitters? And if he gets to change, then how come I can't change? Like, there's so many different things.
Sure.
And everything's based around, like I said, speeding up the pace of play, which I never hear anybody complaining about it, but apparently somebody does to Major League Baseball because they're always doing this. So like I said, if you really want to speed the pace of play up, take out hitters' walk-up songs. That'll speed it up pretty quick. And tell the third base coach he can only give signs before the at-bat starts, can't give another sign until the at-bat's over.
Okay.
And we'll see how we like that.
All right. So there you go. Food for thought, and we'll bookmark all that.
More.
I like it. Now, Vinny, I see Caesars has put up numbers, win totals already. There's a good reason, though, there's 2 good reasons why the South Point has not.
Well, typically we wait a little bit longer. We'll put them up this month. Chris Andrews and I were chatting about it the other day. But to me, you have to pay attention to where Manny Machado and Bryce Harper are going for a couple of reasons. You can't. My opinion is, and I'd love to hear what Josh has to say about this from the baseball side and Amal from the betting side, you can't say that Bryce Harper in particular is worth X amount of games. I don't think there's a set amount of games he's worth. He's certainly worth to the plus. But I think he's worth more to a team like the White Sox in that division, okay, with 2 teams on the complete rebuild being Detroit and Kansas City, and are going to play, 36 times, 38 times against each other, compared to a team like the Phillies who are in a much tougher division. There's only 1 rebuild going on in there, and it's pretty constant down in Miami. The other part of it is what happens if they wind up going to the same team, which has been talked about, and I think the White Sox were an example there. So for me, the short answer is those guys are going to impact the number quite a bit, and you're guessing if you put it up. So Josh, does that make sense? Am I on point with that? Right?
No, I definitely questioned it too. I wonder why not very many books had the totals out yet, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Over 162 games, 1 player doesn't change it, and that's what I was going to ask you. We know what we talked about it many times. What Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady would do to a total, but it's football and it's a very specific player. What would Bryce Harper and Manny Machado do? Obviously, Manny Machado was on the Baltimore Orioles last year, the worst team in history, so it doesn't change it too much. But then you make a great point. If they end up in Chicago with the White Sox, that team does get better. You end up in Detroit, that team does not get any better. So you're right. the place, and I never did take into consideration what if one team gets both.
And the other thing is, that's not a critique of the guys at Caesars. I give them credit. They put it up, and they took a stand, and good for them. I just want to wait a little bit more, so I've got more information, and frankly, the bettors too.
To me, Machado hurt himself last year in the postseason. And I said one of the reasons why nobody's going to sign Bryce to that astronomical deal that they want is because he's got to stay healthy. You look at his production over the years, he's an elite talent, but his production hasn't always been elite.
Let's, speaking of Bryce Harper, let's go to a team that still could be in the running for him, may yet have the best offer on the table to get him, and that's his old team, the Washington Nationals, as we delve into division by division. The numbers you're seeing on your screen right now, if you have the screen, are the numbers that have been put up by Caesars as their win totals. These are current and openers. The Nationals, 88.5. The Braves from 84 to 86.5. Mets from 83.5 to 85.5. Phillies from 83 to 87. Marlins from 65.5, Josh, to 64.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the wins from last year because I love this division. I mean, obviously we're all going to see a lot of this. This is fantastic. And you notice every total is somewhere in the mid-80s. Now, some were bet up and some stayed. Every one of those teams got so much better this year. It's unbelievable. Even the Nationals, with losing Bryce Harper, potentially losing him, they still got better. And I look at there's a lot of teams last year where they had 90 wins or more, 3 teams, 89 wins or more, 82 wins or more. And the Pirates had 82 wins last year, 82 wins or more. So there's no reason every team in that division except for the Marlins can't win 88 games or more. Those are some great teams. It's going to take some bad injuries for one of those teams to fall off. The Phillies are going to finish better than they did last year. The Braves pitching staff's awesome. The Mets have gotten a million times better. I'm in love with this division. And then you're right, if any one of them lands any one of those players, I would bet over on every team there except the Marlins. I think that number is pretty close to 64.
I think the Phillies, I'm not surprised it's gone up. Look, they can't be any worse defensively. It's not even possible. And, of course, offensively, this team should be much better this year.
To the NL Central and the Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, Pirates, Reds, in that order. Cubs opened 89, now at 92. Cardinals holding at 88.5. Brewers from 83.5 to 87.5. Pirates dropping from 78.5 to 76.5. Reds holding steady at 77. Amal, let's start with you.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Cardinals add Goldschmidt, which is a huge addition. We'll see how this team does. I think it's a 2-team race in this division for the most part. I think the Brewers will be competitive. I just don't think they'll be able to have the type of season they had last year. I think look for the Cubs and the Cardinals to be the front runners here.
You brought up a key point, Ron, where you said the Pirates. You talked about who went up, but it's also you have to take note of the fact that the Pirates went down because as teams go up, those division, if teams are being bet over or you're adjusting them up, you've got to adjust somebody down.
Yeah, no question. Can I see that graphic again, by the way? The Cardinals line is way too low. This team is amazing, and they got better, and now guys get to actually play a position they want. They picked up Andrew Miller, Goldschmidt. Drew Robinson's going to be a great bench player they picked up from Texas. The Cardinals are walking away with that division. The Cubs number, I like it under, but I would wait because it'll continue to go up because people want to continue to bet Cubs over. Brewers, I don't know how I feel about this team, if you want to know the truth. And the Reds is what's crazy to me. 10 games higher than last year's total. Now, the Reds have already added a lot of pieces. And they got, listen, if you didn't pay attention to the Reds last year, their bullpen is fantastic. Yep. This team got so much better. But more importantly, this coaching staff in Cincinnati got a lot better. That could be the sneakiest team in baseball to me.
And by the way, Brewers went from 83.5 to 90.5 to 87.5. So a lot of steam on the Brewers right now. NL West, no surprise, Dodgers favored going from 93.5, actually dropping from 95 to 93.5. Good spot, Vinny. It's the Rockies from 82 to 86. Padres dropping from 77.5 to 75.5. Diamondbacks dropping 77 to 74. The Giants, who supposedly are in the Bryce Harper rumor mill now. Why would he go there? You can't hit a ball out of the park there. Opening at 73, going to 75.5, Josh.
No, Barry Bonds did a pretty good job.
Well, it's Barry Bonds.
Yeah, Bryce a little bigger, too. I think it would be great if he went there. I think it would be fun. Listen, another division. I think everybody caught on last year. Dodgers, obviously, back-to-back World Series, very difficult to do. The number was too high last year. It's going to be very tough for this team to get back to the World Series again. 95 is a high number, so I understand the bet down. I still would bet it under 93. I'm mad at myself because I didn't jump on the Rockies at 82 and it's already 86. They're going to go way higher than that 82 number. So if it is 86, Vinny, if you want to open at 82, I appreciate it. I doubt you'll get it, but I like that over with the Rockies. The other three I'm neutral on because the Padres talk as if they're going to do stuff. They don't. And the other two, well, we know the Diamondbacks have kind of gone the opposite way. So I like those numbers. They put a pretty good number right there for them.
This is a classic example of what I was talking about Bryce Harper in particular. Padres have borrowed the Houston Astros model from a few years ago, right, Josh? You've been following it and how their rebuild is going with youth. I know that their total has come down, but there is talk that Bryce Harper could wind up there. Now, I know it's a pitcher's ballpark, but the fact of the matter is if he does wind up there, he vastly improves that team.
New England, the Dodgers are in the division like the AFC East. They have the best talent in a division where nobody else has talent and can't do anything but get out of their own way. To me, I think the Dodgers win this division. I still think they're a contender again for the World Series this year, and they'll add pieces as the season progresses. Don't forget, Seager comes back. He'll be healthy this year.
Does that Dodgers Amal team, they got very young. Verdugo and all the outfielders got very young. Pollock's never healthy. The catchers, Russell Martin's not it, right? So I see this team and I see some stuff, but I don't see the depth they usually have. Does it scare you a little bit? It worries me a little
No,
bit.
because they'll still make the acquisitions needed. You still have the big horse in Kershaw, and then you go from there.
Yeah, they
Good
do
farm
have-
system, too.
Yeah.
and resources. They haven't been afraid to flex them historically. American League East, Central, and West, and we'll jump over there. Oh, that's your teaser. You got a little preview of it if you were watching on VSiN.com. If you're on the radio, we'll let you know what we were previewing next on VSiN. Ron Flatter, Vinny Magliulo, Amal, Shah, and Josh Towers, the ex-big leaguer who's our baseball analyst here on VSiN. We just got done previewing the National League division races and the season win totals posted by Caesars. If you missed it, hit rewind or go to the website or the app. If not, and you're ready to rock and roll here with the AL, here we go in the East. The Caesars win totals for the American League East. The Yankees, no surprise here, or is it? Considering, the team that, did pretty well with a parade and everything. 96.5 with the win total to start. 98 is the new current win total for the Yankees. Red Sox go from 95.5 to 96. The Rays drop from 85.5 to 84. The Blue Jays from 76.5 down to 72.5. And Josh, the Orioles, same old Orioles, from 59 to 58.
Yeah, well, I just stay away from that one. It's not even worth it. I was in that clubhouse the other day, by the way, and I looked at all the names all the way around who's coming to camp. 6 people maybe I recognize.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many names. We do have a kid from UNLV who's in big league camp, has a chance to make the team, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But past that, like, you didn't even know who was on the team. It's crazy. They got their work cut out for them. That coaching staff. Hopefully, they're going to invest 3 or 4 years in that staff because they're going to need it. And that's not a negative thing. This is a complete rebuild if I've ever seen it. Over for the Yankees. That team got better and better. I mean, are you kidding me? If Tulo does anything, DJ LeMahieu,
That's a huge addition.
Paxton from Seattle,
Yep.
Ottavino. Hopefully, he can duplicate what he did last year. And then that team got better. Boston. 108's not in the future, but looking over, and then you're going to cut me a deal on the Rays at 85? Yeah, I'll take that over too.
Amal?
I still think Boston's a team to beat, despite the fact the Yankees made some tremendous additions. I'm not as big on their frontline pitching, maybe as Josh might be, but I think these two teams are going to be the clear-cut favorites in this division.
American League Central, the Indians at the top of the heap, going from 91.5 to open down to 90.5, but still at the top there. The Twins go up from 84 to 85 at Caesars. The White Sox season win total rises from 74.5 to 77. I don't see Manny Machado there yet. Royals drop from 69 to 68.5, and the Tigers, Vinny, from 67 up to 67.5.
Yeah, not as much movement here on. Not a real shock either. I'm not really as surprised with the White Sox. Part of that might be a little bit of Bryce Harper and or Manny Machado speculation, but this team is on the right track, as Josh and I mentioned in the last segment. They're rebuilding, but they're stockpiling a lot of young talent.
Yeah, hey, I mean, Kelvin Herrera, James McCann, Colomé, Yonder Alonso, Ivan Nova, they got better.
Yeah.
They got better, and they had a lot of young kids get some experience last year, too. Now, I know everybody overly jumped on them last year, and it bit them a little bit. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know they're a much better team. The Indians under. I like the Indians under. I think it's 91.5 right now. And
90.5, or 90.5.
Okay, 90, so it continues to go down. So I like that under. I'm neutral on the Twins. I mean, they added Nelson Cruz, Jonathan Scope. They added some players, actually about 4. CJ Crone. So I'm neutral because that 85 is a tough number, but I think they get close.
Lindor still with the Indians?
He's still there leading off.
Okay, yeah,
buddy.
they're winning this division. Let's go to the AL West.
Okay.
We don't care if they win it. We just care about the wins.
Forget the wins. That's too tough of a number right now.
What Amal said. American League West. Astros back at the top there. Dropping, though, from 97.5 on the opener to a current win total of 96. Angels up from 83.5 to 84. Oakland from 83 to 85. Seattle with a big drop. 74.5 on the opener. Now 69.5. And Texas from 70.5, Josh, to 71.5.
If the Astros get a catcher, I'll take the over. If not, I'm going to stay under on that. The Angels, that's way too high. Listen, the team never does anything, and Brad Ausmusth did not do anything with Detroit. I don't anticipate him doing anything his first year with Anaheim. I think that number for the Angels is crazy high. Oakland, listen, they added smart pieces to this team. Estrada's going to pitch well in Oakland. There's a lot of foul territory. He throws his changeup. He's going to be successful, so I like Oakland's over. The Mariners, they dropped that way too low. I mean, listen, there's a billion trades they made, but they still have a pretty good team hidden in that roster somewhere. I like the over on all those.
I was going to say Houston, to me, the biggest acquisition of the offseason has been Michael Brantley. He's going to be outstanding in that lineup. I think Correa bounces back, has a good year this year. I think this team pushes that. I know Charlie Morton, to me, pitched above his value last year, but I still think this team is very dangerous. I don't know if they get over that number. Oakland is the team to keep an eye out for in terms of win total.
All right, so let's put, as they say, tie a bow around this. Your best picks, your best plays, season win total wise at the moment. Let's start with you, Amal.
I don't have any right now. There's still players out there that are available. To me, you got to look at teams that are in contention to get some of these players that could change the dynamic of how a team does.
Vinny?
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm going to be making the prices on, I want to see where they go. But when I start seeing, I think if the A's can get off to a good start, typically they don't. Then I think they can. They may be some value there. Of course, we're going to see a lot about them because the AAA team is here.
Yeah, I love it. The Rockies are my favorite one. Like I said, if you got it at 82, congratulations. I hope you bet a lot. The Rockies are my favorite. I like the Mets over. I think it's still too low for that division. I think they're really good. I love the whole division. And the Phillies, I know the Phillies are a little bit high, but this team is good, got better, and we're talking about the potential landing spot of one of those two guys, and now they're the front runner to get JT Realmuto. That's one that I would definitely take a shot on. It's worth it.
I'm with you on the Cubs. If they keep getting bet up, they get more and more attractive by the moment to bet them under. And it says here, let me throw this out there. Is Joe Madden among the early managerial casualties in 2019?
I don't know how. Listen, how could he be? But Amal's favorite player is coming back, so it doesn't matter. You Darvish. Look at that.
Well, speaking of which,
question asked, question answered. Yeah.
Well, when am I getting my lunch for you, Darvish, not having even 12 wins last year?
That's right. I do owe you.
Ow.
It's amazing. All these guys at VSiN want to bet me. They all wind up in the same situation as Notre Dame. They just continue to lose.
Hey, Josh, thanks again. I mean, this is great insight as always. When do we see you again?
About 5 minutes when I take them all for a hot dog for $1.25.
Wow, that'll be a live telecast right here on the web stream. You're gonna love that. Watch Amal and a hot dog. That'll be the biggest upset of the day, won't it?
Yeah, it would be.
All right. Hey, thanks much again.
Thank you.
We'll certainly talk a lot of baseball. See more about that, of course, every week in Point Spread Weekly from VSiN.com. And so that's a great way to look forward to spring, even in a very chilly time here in the desert, Las Vegas.